Hi, I'm Ben, and I thought I'd delve into last April to talk to you about Thomas Brush's Pinstripe. Pinstripe is a story-driven 2D puzzle platformer set across 6 levels of hell, developed over 5 years by Thomas Brush's one-man studio, Atmos Games. On the surface, the story of Pinstripe is a very familiar one that we've all seen or heard or played through before. Child is happy with parents, child is taken from parents, parent gets angry and goes to save the child. In this case, you play as widowed minister Ted. While travelling with his daughter Bo, a mysterious figure named Mr. Pinstripe appears and, after some creepy leering dialogue, takes Bo from Ted. Ted has to journey through hell to find Pinstripe and rescue his daughter before she gets adopted and is lost forever, with only Bo's slingshot for a weapon and their faithful dog Georgie acting as a guide. The voice of Mr. Pinstripe is performed by Dick Terhune, who does a fantastic job of portraying a genuinely sinister antagonist, with most of his appearances ending with childish outbursts and name-calling.
Yes, I think that's precisely what we'll do. You freakishly stupid-looking goose!
The voice work overall is full of personality and humour and lends itself to the atmosphere of the game, which is even more impressive given that a number of the characters are voiced by big-name YouTubers rather than actual experienced voice actors.
Father? Help! Help! This demon thing is eating me alive!
I'm not eating you. I'm just delivering you to Rebels. Don't worry, sweetie. It's plenty of fun down there. Viscous, sap juice to drink all day and night.
I really love the 2D Burtonesque art style because it manages to make the world feel hell-like and haunting without having to rely too much on showing scenes of gore or physical torture. As Ted progresses through hell, you find clues about his life and slowly learn that after his wife died, he started drinking and eventually killed himself and Bo in a car crash. So yeah, it's a pretty dark game. The slingshot shooting is simple point and click, which is all it really needs to be, as the shooting serves mostly to interact with the world and solve puzzles rather than be the focus of the game. Most enemies are there to be manipulated as part of a puzzle rather than fought against, and one enemy type only appears twice in the game and can only be defeated by jumping on its butt anyway. Ted isn't having to fight through hell to save his daughter, he's having to come to terms with what he did and try to forgive himself. He's a guilt-stricken father terrified of losing his daughter, not the Doomslayer. The bulk of Pinstripe is puzzles and platforming, and that platforming for the most part is fine. I've seen some reviews saying that they couldn't get along with it because Ted is so floaty to control. But I didn't get that at all. I can see what they're saying about Ted being a bit floaty, but if anything, that helped me aim his landings a bit better. It does its job and doesn't hugely stand out, but it's not supposed to. The platforming is more of a delivery system for the story and the puzzles, which can vary a bit. While some of them are simple but effective, like shooting a pulley to lift a log out of your path, others are really clever and well designed. One that really jumps out at me involves finding and examining clues to find out what time of day certain events happen in the world, repairing a mega clock and setting the clock to the right time of day, sending you and Georgie back to that time. It's a great example of the imagination in the vast majority of the game's puzzles and reminded me of the excellent The Sexy Brutale, a game where you jump around time in a single day to prevent a series of murders. On the other hand, somewhere around the midway point of the game, Ted needs to buy tickets for a tram to progress, and unless you happen to find a very specific area much earlier on, you won't have anywhere near enough oil, which is the currency, and cue lots of backtracking through most of the game's world up to that point to find a single screen where you use an enemy's bomb to catapult yourself into the air to collect the oil. It came off as completely unnecessary, grindy, and lasts way too long. There are also 2 spot the difference mini-games that seem so out of place and not up to the standard of the rest of the product. Other than those few puzzles, most of the game is well designed, clever, and mildly disturbing, which is only a good thing here. Thank you for watching, and subscribe for more content soon. Don't need a soon. Pinstripe, it's a game. You go through hell, save your daughter, shoot some stuff, change time, reunite with your wife. As long as you're not a dick to the dog.